Hello. Let's talk about how dependent prepositions used after verbs can spoil our life. Us English learners, yeah? In many cases, English learners feel confused about prepositions, and I am sure you have had your doubts too. And we have the whole course about dependent prepositions on the Skillshare platform. And if throughout the video, if you feel that this is exactly what you are struggling with, please follow the link in the description and join the course on Skillshare. You will get 2 months of free access to the platform. You will be able to work with the course, and you can find all other courses there too. And let's talk a little bit about this. Dependent prepositions. I have some sentences which are typically said by English learners, and it's not always right what they are saying. We must discuss about your plans. Very typical, especially if your native language is one of the Slavic ones. I think there is a high chance you could be making this mistake. In English, the verb discuss never uses a preposition after itself. So the correct sentence will be, we must discuss your plans. But people keep adding this about after this discuss again and again and again, driving English teachers crazy, really. So it's very important not just to learn which prepositions to use after which verbs. What's more important to learn is after which verbs you don't use this preposition. And again, it's very important to compare how you would normally say this phrase in your own language. Maybe this is the reason for this mistake. And that's why translating from your own language doesn't work. Yes, you will be making this mistake again and again and again. So look at this sentence, translate it into your own language, translate it back to English if necessary. Remember this verb discuss and learn it as a pattern. Discuss something, okay? Discuss something with somebody, for example, yeah? And remember this correct sentence, we must discuss your plans. The next one. She doesn't want to depend on her parents. So the verb depend here means financially. And, can you spot the mistake here? It is also a very typical one because a lot of people I know say depend off, whereas in English it is a different dependent preposition after the verb depend. So we always say depend on something, depend on somebody. And in this case, she doesn't want to depend on her parents. Again, compare it with your native language. Is there a risk of you making this mistake? The next one, what time do we arrive to Cardiff? Okay, what is wrong here? Take a sec, think about it. Well, everything seems normal, right? What time, okay, do we arrive to? So usually we use to as a preposition of direction after the verbs of movement. We say go to, come to, arrive, not arrive, okay? Yeah? This is the trick of it. Arrive is not a typical verb of movement. It uses other prepositions after itself. If you are talking about arriving in a city or in a country, you need to say in. What time do we arrive in Cardiff? And this doesn't make any sense because with all other verbs of movement, you will be using the preposition to. And what's more confusing, I emphasize that, city or country. What time do we arrive in England? Well, we don't normally say it, but okay. If you are saying a different place, not the city, not the town, but for example, office, okay, the office, you will say at. What time do we arrive at the office? This is this tricky verb arrive. And again, you need to know that because no translation, your own language will never help you here. Yeah, these are small tricks of English, so to say. Good. Another one. I knew about that he had problems. We sometimes remember that we need to use some preposition, yes, after some verb. So I knew about something. But then you go on and add the whole sentence after it. But this is not how we normally do that. Okay? So if you have a preposition, you can't use that after it. It's just not possible. And you have a new sentence which you need to connect with this phrase in the first sentence. Okay? How you are doing that? You remember, I hope so, after my course and after my videos about verb patterns, you probably remember that you are supposed to use a verb in a gerund form after prepositions. If you don't, again, go to the Skillshare platform and watch that course. It's available for subscription and it will be the same 2 months of free access, which you get when you follow the link. Here, I knew about, we have the verb have, I'm putting it into a gerund form, okay, about having, but I have lost this person, yeah, because it's not me who was having problem, it was him who was having problems. So I will add it into the pattern as an object because it's used after the preposition. And to get the sentence, I knew about him having problems. This is how you connect a new idea with the preposition. We could say that, yeah, this is some kind of the verb patterns. So this is how they work. But yes, differently from just adding new verbs after verbs, yeah? You sometimes need to make these little grammar transformations if you have a preposition here. And this is also very important to remember. You always use the in form after prepositions. I'm thinking of moving to Rome, and so on and so on. Yes, you can't convince me of accepting this job, for example. Yeah, always after the preposition you add the second verb in gerund form. Good. And the last one, probably the most confusing. Yeah, so in many languages we say it like that, and when you translate it into English, you also try to say it like that. You say, to where shall I send it? Yeah? Showing the direction, prepositional direction. Shall I send it? I don't know, some parcel. You will hear this question typically in a shop, yeah? For example, you have bought something, you are ordering the delivery, and the person says, but he says it differently, yeah? Because if you are in an English-speaking country, you will hear, where shall I send it to? Because this preposition to belongs to the verb, not to this question word, okay? That's why we will move it here. We will remove it from here and we will say, where shall I send it to? It is very informal English, in written English. We don't like to finish the sentence with the preposition, but it's becoming more and more popular in spoken English. And for example, in American English, you hear such questions and sentences all the time. You just keep the preposition next to the verb it belongs to. Next to the verb it belongs to. Okay? And we will learn how to do that in one of the next videos, yeah? In one of the next lessons. So this is a list of the most typical problems people have with the prepositions after verbs. And now I'm going to teach you how to use them without any mistakes.